Who knew that Fox Studios were such fans of the old school Power Rangers TV show? It's clearly where they got the inspo for fucking around with one of the oldest mutants around. So let's compare the comics version of En Sabah Ner, aka Apocalypse, to the movies. And remember, like this video if you like the video, and subscribe if you really like it. So Apocalypse's history can't be covered in this video. Suffice to say, he's one of the oldest mutants around, being born about 5,000 years ago in Egypt. He's gone through a lot on his way to becoming the powerful dude that he is. He's an external, a bunch of 9, maybe 10 mutants that are immortal, maybe more on them in another video. But along his way, he's come across a few big names, a bit like Forrest Gump. He got started around when Kang the Conqueror was lording it up as Rama Tut. Kang knew what Apocalypse would become. He was already getting super strong and tough, and so he tried to be his dad, but no dice. So he tried to kill him, but ended up fleeing. Apocalypse also had a spell with Moon Knight.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Fighting off the Brood and effectively helping to start S.H.I.E.L.D. He had contact with the Celestials, who gave him a ship that would give him some more power. He beat up Thor early on while he was in Scandinavia. And then he had some skirmishes with a young Cable travelling through time with a lovely ponytail. And as a result, ended up bonding with the Celestial ship more and becoming even more powerful. Now he could control his molecular structure. Yowza! He's taken some long naps in his ship, and he'd pop up every now and then. He had a fight with Vlad the Impaler, which led to him becoming Dracula. And he had to take care of that mess, but not before meeting Nathaniel Essex, the man all mixed up with the Summers boys. Apocalypse turned him into the pasty goth dude that we know him as, but then he got fed up of Apocalypse, so ended up facilitating the birth of Cable to take him out. Apocalypse realises that this baby growing up will travel through time and do him over, so he infects him with the techno-organic virus. At one point he shares some consciousness with Cyclops, he gets beaten and resurrected as a child in a dapper school uniform with a nice side parting, creating the Marvel equivalent of would you kill Hitler if he was a child if you could. Turns out Phantom X would, and then also clone him and try and make him good. Apocalypse is immortal though, so he pops up again, creates a new body, and then more recently he's on Krakoa on the Quiet Council, and we'll stop there because we don't want to spoil any of the stuff that's happened more recently. Oof, what a history! So he's one of the most powerful mutants ever. As mentioned, he basically can't die. He's a hell of a telepath, as you can see in this messy page where he's taking on Jean Grey and Cyclops at the same time. He can change his molecular structure into anything. He can fire energy blasts from his eyes that can take down a young Thor. Speaking of Thor, as mentioned before, he's taken him down and shown how tough his celestial armour is. He's strong enough to restrain the Hulk, he's fast enough to punch Quicksilver. Before he gets a new body, he can take everything all the X-Men and the Inhumans can throw at him, and he can take a Cyclops blast right to the chops with ease. The dude can basically do anything. Oh, and he has a rotating bunch of Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but I'm not talking about them today. So in this instance, the film version of him is pretty impressive. The film itself, however, is very much not okay. Aside from, as mentioned, the decision to make Mystique the field commander, it's just a really shonky movie. And look, I bloody love Oscar Isaacs. I even liked him in Sucker Punch. His Apocalypse is, straight off the bat though, just too normal sized. The comic book version is 7 feet tall, and I would have loved to have seen him just be this hulking brute in this one. Instead, he does weird things like touching TVs and learning stuff, and then has some telekinesis, and he's able to make a man melt into a wall. But he does show some of the same abilities. He can teleport, he's got strong telepathic skill taking on Professor X in the mind. He's got some healing ability when Mystique slashes his throat. He's got super strength, speed and durability when taking on Quicksilver. And he has the power to make people stronger, again like in the comics. And he can create force field, he can make cool arts and crafts, and again melt people into walls. Not bad. He also does give all the X-Men a tough time before the Phoenix gets involved. So he's definitely not been nerfed too much, but he's just not the powerhouse from the comics. And I know, it's a movie, so it needs to be wrapped up nice and neatly, but he's a one and done. And deserves more respect, to be honest. And he also looks too much like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers.
They call me Ivan Ooze.
Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.